Yeah, so I also saw another, I guess, a hot take movie around the holidays. This one I saw the day after I saw Nosferatu, which was Sonic 3.
Sonic, you finally found your family.
Try to keep up.
I know it hasn't always been easy, but you didn't change who you are in here.
This is the third
Interesting.
installment. It's an interesting film. Jeff
I
Fowler.
never thought they'd ever get to three, man.
I know that's
I never
what's
thought we'd get to a three. I thought we'd be done after two.
two. I thought really one. I thought like the success
Oh,
of one
you
was
know that's not true.
okay
That
with
would
it.
never happen.
And then they make two, right? Because the director's pretty new as far as like what they, Sony just tapped him. They just needed somebody, and then boom, the Sonic the Hedgehog one came out in 2020. The second one came out 2 years later, and this one also 2 years later. I'll just say it's just more of the same. If you saw Sonic 1, if you saw Sonic 2, you're gonna like this one. This one paid a little homage to a lot of the Sega Dreamcast
Hmm.
Sonic games. So if you're really into like, because it has Shadow. Shadow's the main antagonist here, voiced by Keanu
Right.
Reeves. You had
Oh,
Jim
Jesus.
Carrey coming back into his
For the
role
money.
for the money, like
Actually, he
literally.
even admitted that. He
He did,
literally
yeah.
admitted that he did
He
it for the money.
he did it for the money, and he was like, he was going to retire after the second one, apparently.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I did it for the money, and they offered him a lot. So, and he did well, because this was another one unique to the other ones, where he played an old Robotnik and a younger Robotnik, as you saw in the trailer, and
Hmm.
he really did differentiate between the two. And it is kind of like an Ace Ventura: Pet Detective again, dude, where he's like going all out. You can kind of feel it. Like he's like, I might, if I'm gonna retire, let me just throw it all, on the
It's gonna
table.
burn out like a dying star.
Just burn out, dude. And I kind of appreciated it. There's just really not too much to say to on the story aspect. Like I said, it's just Shadow. He was captured by the government. He came from the stars. He was made out of chaos. The Chaos Emeralds, I guess Sonic
I never
has.
got that far with the Sonic. I always just assumed it was a hedgehog just running around. I never knew there was
Yeah,
really that much of a story to it.
that's what I never really grew up with the Sonic games, so I'm
Well,
like,
I
what the
played
fuck?
Sega, but like I had Sonic, but I was never like, oh man, did you know that this and this entails? And
Right.
I was just
Tails
always
and
obsessed with getting
Tails.
past the levels.
Right. I know. It's like there was no story. You're just the levels are hard and you would beat them. And no, there's this. There's like these Chaos Emerald things, and there's two, Doctor Robotniks. But all, enjoyable. There's a lot of Easter eggs for a lot of people that like Sonic. Like I said, for the Sega Dreamcast fans, Sega Genesis, they even threw sort of like a little bit of a nod to Michael Jackson being on the
Hmm.
soundtrack for the third game, which is true. Michael
Really
Jackson was a huge Sega fan and a Sonic fan, so much so that he did the sound, like part of the soundtrack for the third installment of the game, but did not like how it
was it
came out.
like
And he
was it like Free Willy's? You know,
yeah,
Bill man.
that song is tight.
I was your friend. That poor well. That poor well
Yeah,
died.
I would give for me Sonic the Hedgehog, I'll give it a 7 just on its own, but if you're watching it with somebody who's younger, they might appreciate it more.
Interesting.